if I remember correctly, it's your initiative.
He was one of the pioneers, Professor Vasi. So when we started the discussion on this, he and Rudra Pratap, later Navkan Bhatt from Institute.
Absolutely.
I'll tell you how it all started when I talk a little bit.
Okay.
The story how it started.
So, hello everyone. I hope you can hear me. I'm Saurabh Lodha from IIT Bombay. Welcome you all to this first familiarization workshop under the INUP Idea to Innovation program. And I am one of the PIs from IIT Bombay for this project, and I'm also a faculty in the Department of Electrical Engineering. So we have a very distinguished set of speakers for this morning inaugural session, and I would like to begin with Professor Subhashish Chaudhary to welcome everyone here in this first workshop. This is the first time that INUP is being conducted by 6 institutes across India: IIC Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, IIT Guwahati, IIT Kharagpur, and IIT Madras. So it's a big program with a lot of expectations. And with that, I would really request Professor Subhashish Chaudhary, Director of IIT Bombay, to welcome everyone and share his remarks with us. Professor Subhashish.
Thank you, Professor Lodha. Dr. Chidambaram, Sri Arvind Kumar, Professor Bhasi, other distinguished colleague from my own institute, IIT Bombay, as well as from other 5 partner institutions, okay, as well as many other people who have joined this morning. A very warm welcome to you. This is a complete new beginning of what we normally call it INUP 3, but actually now we have a different acronym, Idea 2, something like that. What is that called? Idea to I. So Idea to Innovation. And we are thankful to MIT and others for all the necessary funding and the support. Okay. We are also thankful to Dr. Chidambaram, Professor Bhasi for, to start the whole thing. That today we are about, I would say 10, 12 years, since the initiation of all these projects. And this has given, I think, one of the biggest training program that probably India has started in this very, very, advanced area. And today, I think we are seeing the benefit of this activity. So I think on behalf of IIT Bombay, I would like to all welcome you for this first inaugural meeting where you would be here. And at the same time, I think subsequently, as the program of this INUP continues, I hope all of you will participate and you will request your friends and colleagues who are interested in this area to take advantage of INUP, this I2I program that we are starting today. So, as we just said, it's about 2008. That's when I think it all started. And I think we'll listen from Dr. Chidambaram, how it all started, and we benefited from his patronage on this particular program that we have it here. But I'm delighted to tell you that it has been, I think, a great leveraging experience for IIT Bombay, where we actually, as well as I think IISc and other partners, where we actually conducted this INUP programs over the last 10, 12 years. And, we have, I see that we had 306 publications that came out because of this particular kind of associations, okay? And this far exceeded the target that was planned. I think this is only during the last, I think, phase 2 of this, okay? We had several patents that came out, and we have produced a large number of PhDs. That's 187. That's actually a large number of PhDs. And this actually shows that actually we are walking up the pyramid of, the manpower training, where it's not only at the undergraduate and the master's level, but we do generate a large number of very, I think, trained professionals as PhD who later on probably contribute to the growth of the industry in this particular area. I know that, currently the Indian government has actually earmarked a tremendous amount of funding and other opportunities that, this creating a space where, there will be a lot of need, I think, in order to, embolden the vision of the Prime Minister to see that this kind of I think the investment that has been made, that is going to be made in this sector, in the micro semiconductor area, that I think the preparation that INU did over the last 10 to 12 years, I think this will play a significant role. And I think these are the people who have been trained, the trained manpower. They will be actually taking up leadership role in making sure that whatever the plan that our government as our industry they are having in terms of the semiconductor, taking it to the next level, they will come very handy and will not have really that much of dirt at the top of the level, in the pyramid, which is usually the case most often in many advanced, I think, the technology development areas. At IIT Bombay, we are also thankful to all our partners. Now we have more partners. So that is a good thing, because I think together we can deliver a lot more than what we were doing earlier with our minds of IIT Bombay and IISc. So I think we also, welcome our partners on board. That will definitely let us try to make a strong bond, because that would also help us in terms of setting up collaborations between these institutions at all these 6 institutions that we have. I would also like to, give the participants a perspective, particularly to this INUP program that we have, because after hyphenation you have I2I, innovation, that idea to innovation. Would like to inform you that many of you who are joining today, IIT Bombay places a lot of, I think, emphasis on the entrepreneurial activities. This activity has gone up drastically over, I would say, the last 10 years or so. And, some of you may be knowing that I think the SIGN, the Society for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which is our the incubator. This is probably the first one that any of the academic institutions that set it up in India. And today, we are happy to say that we have more than 180 companies that got incubated. And at the same time, I think maybe around 40 of them folded up. But still, we have like 140 of them are today who have graduated from this. And today, the collective valuation of all the companies that SIGN Incubation has done, it's around $2.5 billion. With that includes one of the company being a unicorn today. So definitely this is one of our interest area. And in order to make sure that we get more of our students, faculty members, and other researchers, no matter where they are, they get the proper exposure in terms of this kind of activity, which actually leads, which demands that it's not only the, the kind of technology that we do for the research, but to take it to the, the translational activity. IIT Bombay has set up a school purely on the entrepreneurial side. So it's called Desai Sethi School of Entrepreneurship, thanks to the generous donation by one of our alumni, Mr. Bharat Desai. And we are probably one of the few institutions in India which actually offer programs, let's say minor as well as at the master's level program on the entrepreneurship. So we would like to, hopefully some of the INUP participants in this would like to take advantage of what IIT Bombay offers in terms of this ecosystem that we have created over the years, so that actually we do see a lot of benefit coming, from the academia to the industry. We also, are going to have a research park, which would be ready in about a year's time. And we already have quite a few companies which are, part of our research park. So this is the third vertical on our this set of activity. And we want, some of these companies who are going to need this constant association with the academia, they could partner us in being, hosted in our research park so that we can have a lot more collaborations, because there's one foot would be right in the campus when they come to our research park. We also are currently working on another one aspect, which is very important, because a lot of idea gets created, okay, which is in the laboratory as well as the students have to leave because they have get their degree, they have their career, and sometimes they go, and many of them fall apart. All these ideas because we don't take it forward for translational possibilities. So currently, we are, many of them could be very early TRL level. So in order to give them a boost, we are also trying to see whether we can create something like a TRL booster, which is more like a translational research academy, where we would like to take up the activities that many of our students and professors are doing, which are very early proof of concept, where we would like the students to be paid, and so they can continue working on that, so that we can actually raise the level of the the TRL, so that maybe it can be licensed to an industry, or maybe the student or the faculty member, they can start their own their startup thing right here or outside, wherever they want. So that's the fourth vertical, so that many of the ideas that it gets developed actually see the light at the end of the tunnel. So I think all these INUP participants over the next 5 years or so, I hope that they take advantage of what we have to offer. Similarly, I'm sure many of the partner, I think IITs and others, IISc will also have similar opportunities. So they should take advantage of the fact so that we see the benefit. So with that, I would like to stop by thanking you for joining here today, and we look forward to a continued association with all of you.
Thank you, Professor Chaudhary, for those welcoming words, and also highlighting the aspect of innovation, which is a key focus area for INUP in its third phase, and IIT Bombay's initiatives in this area. Thank you very much. And as you said at the beginning of your address, Dr. Chidambaram is where it all started, and we have the privilege today that he is with us as a guest of honor. And I would like him to share his perspectives on INUP, how it all started, and where he sees it going with us. Before that, I would like to give a brief introduction to his very illustrious biography. Dr. Chidambaram became the director of BERC in 1990. He was the chairman of the Atomic Energy Commission from 93 to 2000. He was the principal scientific advisor to the government of India and the chairman of the Scientific Advisory Committee to the cabinet from 2001 to 2018. And he's presently the DAE Homi Bhabha professor in BERC. He has several research accomplishments, several awards. I will just name a few. He's received the C.V. Raman Birth Centenary Award of the Indian Science Congress, the Distinguished Material Scientists of the Year Award of the Material Research Society, the R.D. Birla Award of the Indian Physics Association, the Homi Bhabha Lifetime Achievement Award of the Indian Nuclear Society, the Lifetime Achievement Award of the Indian National Academy of Engineering, and the C.V. Raman Medal of the Indian National Science Academy. He is also a Padma Vibhushan, the second highest civilian award from the government of India. For us, one of the big contributions that Dr. Chidambaram made was starting the Centers of Excellence in Nanoelectronics at IIT Bombay and IISc in 2006, and then the INUP program in 2008. And it's not just his contribution in starting nanoelectronic centers. He's also initiated R&D programs in several other areas, including the RUTAG, the Rural Technology Action Group at several IITs, the National Knowledge Network, and also the advanced supercritical thermal plants in collaboration with IG CAR, BHEL, and NTPC. So with that introduction to Dr. Chidambaram, I would like to welcome him to share his views on INUP and how it all started when he was the Principal Scientific Advisor to the Government of India. Dr. Chidambaram, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Saurabh Lodha. Can you just test out our PowerPoint? Just one moment. Just let me get. Thank you also, Professor Subhashish Chowdhury, for inviting me here and also telling me about IIT's activities, particularly your efforts, encouraging students to take up translational activities. Now, this is the inauguration of the phase 3 of the Indian National Users Program. Next slide. You know, the entire program to start the nanoelectronics program came from what I call technology foresight analysis. Technology foresight is not to be confused with technology forecasting. You can take up any technology and kind of work out what would be its evolutionary development. But if you add to it an assessment made in a national perspective, taking into account national needs, national resources, then it becomes technology foresight. And will differ from country to country, the critical technologies that you select for development and security. And I have given a list, in my opinion, of what would be the critical technologies for India. And certainly, even now and at that time in the early 2000s, nanotechnology was right at the top. Next slide. See, in the early 2000s, the importance of nanoelectronics for India was, as I said, evident from any kind of foresight analysis. And if you want, it was very clear that the development of a country depends on the creation of a quality semiconductor system. You know, maybe I'll share with you how it all started. When Mr. Arun Shourie was the Minister for Electronics in the Vajpayee government, and in the Department of Electronics which he headed, there was a meeting and I was supposed to give the keynote address. He was supposed to inaugurate the meeting and I was supposed to give the keynote address. But Mr. Arun Shourie said, let him talk, then I will inaugurate. And then in my talk, I mentioned that we missed the microelectronics revolution. We should not miss the nanoelectronics revolution. So when it came for Mr. Arun Shourie to talk, he said, Chidambaram says that we should not miss the nanoelectronics revolution. After all, he is the principal scientific advisor. I asked him, what is he doing about it? And then I said, okay, I'll have a meeting with you. And I said, give me 100 crores. And after a transparent brainstorming session in my office, the PSA's office, we will select 2 places who are best equipped in terms of resources, in terms of their faculty, in terms of their ability to interact with the industry. And this was held. And that is when the decision to take up 2 state-of-the-art nanofabrication facilities at 2 academic institutions or centers in the country was taken, IISc Bangalore and IIT Bombay. And then at that time, we had also decided that since there are very expensive facilities created at public funding, using public funding, we should also have an Indian Nanoelectronics Users Program. It was started simultaneously. And the people who ran the centers of nanoelectronics agreed that they would facilitate access to these facilities by the rest of the academic community in India. In a recent paper by Udayan Ganguly, and Sandeep Lashkare and Sarup Ganguly of IIT Bombay. And he has said that India has come a long way in terms of transformation of its nanoelectronic system, academic system in the country. Next. Now, this slide has not come complete. It's doesn't matter. This is from Naukan, but it shows here how it started with two issues, IIT Bombay and IIC Bangalore, and then it has spread to several other places, which has been next slide. Six institutes, which are shown here. Six comes in stages, I think. IIT Guwahati is the more recent one, Kharagpur, Delhi, Madras. And the kind of activities in these centers, both academic research, startups, interaction with industry, and you know the impact of the CENs. This is a couple of years old slide, but it gives you the broad interaction that these centers, state-of-the-art facilities, of course, and many people abroad whom I have met during this period have said that these facilities are sometimes very often better than what they had, because some of their facilities were set up a long time back, but these were set up later, so they had much better facilities. And INUP had 700 institutions, 7,000 researchers, and look at the number of papers, patents which has come, and then also industry interaction, collaboration, 50 multinationals also and companies. Strategic sector programs have been taken up, international collaboration. There are at least 10 startups, including NanoSniff by Dr. Ram Gopal Rao when he was in IIT Bombay. Next slide. It grew into NNETRA, the Nanoelectronics Network for Research and Application. This is a flagship project of MIT and DFC. And main nodes are, of course, the erstwhile centers of IIT Bombay and IIC. But then they also funded the nano centers, which are shown here. And the IITB node of the network, NNETRA IITB, is supported, of course, by the R&D infrastructure for IITB national facility, and developed a special focus on semiconductor technologies, strategic applications, defense, aerospace, critical infrastructure, and IITB is understand the institutional coordinator for NNETRA. And it is becomes an obviously a flagship program for the Make in India manufacturing as far as the strategic semiconductor technologies are concerned. And these are technologies without which India could become vulnerable in terms of data security, technology access, and price. This is INUP phase 2 as given to me by Dr. Sarup Ganguly during this period 2013 to 19. Look at the amount of this is now an extremely active group, both in Institute of Science as well as IIT Bombay, familiarization workshops and hands-on training, research projects, 423 participants from 155 institutes, really mind-boggling numbers, but they had also a hackathon event. Publications that naturally come out of it, theses, patents, startups, and so on. Next slide. So this is actually, we have now the iSTEM program, which was started towards the end of my term as a principal scientific advisor. That the whole idea was if you build facilities with public funding, they should be available for everybody. And now this iSTEM program has come, which rides on the NKN backbone network. And now 50 organizations and 20,000 equipment have been uploaded till July 2021 into iSTEM, which is run by the Institute of Science, Bangalore, and iSTEM grew out of INUP, because INUP was a kind of a unique catalyzing system in which facilities set up were for the first time made available to anybody in India. But then this has become generalized in terms of iSTEM and is actually run by the Institute of Science, CNS, next line. Now we heard about idea to innovation, I2I, and if you look at the objectives of INUP, I2I, enhancing the R&D ecosystem in the area of nanoelectronics. Of course, you call it nanoelectronics, but the nanofabrication facilities are used by human people in other disciplines, including biologists. Conduct training and workshops, exploratory innovative research for development of technologies. And IITB thinks of two kinds of projects: R&I projects and startup support. Broadening of the nanoelectronics research base in the country by continuously mentoring these institutions. Startups, mentoring startups. Then actually there are only 2 institutes for running INUP with the goal of academic research. Now phase 3, what we are talking about, 6 institutes, each IIT and IIC will mentor multiple state and central universities in nanoelectronics. INUP I2I, Idea to Innovation mandate is more than research. Applied research, startup, and industry support is already happening, as I showed you in a slide earlier. Now, as I said, technology foresight indicates that we should select these areas which are important for development of the country. Critical technology and nanoelectronics, part of nanotechnology, is a very important part of these critical technologies for India. Actually, it also catalyzes other technologies. The kind of facilities that are available here, I'm sure if you check up, there will be a very large number of departments, both in IIT Bombay and in Institute of Science, which are using these facilities. And they are not just departments of electronics and computer science and all that. So that is why the need is felt to familiarize whatever is happening and how it is growing. And this I2I familiarization workshop on nanofabrication technologies. And it is supposed to cover the broad area of nanoelectronics, which has got a very large number of components. In fact, nano is omnipresent. There is nothing you can think of which is not nano. One also talks of one-dimensional, two-dimensional materials. And this workshop will attempt to do that, to make use or make available, familiarize the availability of the national facility at IIT Bombay to this workshop. I wish the familiarization workshop all success, and I'm so happy to be here that the IIT Bombay facility has grown so well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Chidambaram, for those kind words, and also for sharing the story of INUP with us, all the participants here. Thank you very much. I would like to move on and request Shri Arvind Kumar from the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology for the inaugural address. Shri Arvind Kumar has been, he's the DG SEQC and Group Coordinator R&D in electronics, R&D in cybersecurity at the Ministry of Information, Electronics and Information Technology, and he has been instrumental in both in awarding both the NNETRA and the INUP Phase 3 projects, and he has given huge thrust to nanoelectronics research programs at all the 6 institutes. And so it is befitting that he gives the inaugural address for the first INUP I2I workshop. And with that, I'd like to invite Dr. Shri Arvind Kumar for the inaugural address. Shri Arvind Kumar ji.
Thank you, Professor Lodha. Good morning and namaskar, Dr. Chidambaram, former Principal Scientific Advisor to the Prime Minister, Professor Subhashish Chaudhary, Director, IIT Bombay, Professor Vashi, Professor Ashwin, Professor Deepankar, Professor Ganguly, and Professor Lodha, and all the faculty members of the participating institutes, my colleagues from METI, who are virtually participating in this event. It's really a pleasure of mine to be present in the inaugural session of this 3-day workshop on nanofabrication technologies being organized by IIT Bombay. As you know that METI has a program for promotion of research, innovation and support to startup as part of its national electronics policy in the emerging areas of technologies, which includes AI, IoT, quantum technologies, and also the nanoelectronics area. Promotion of research is provided in the complete value chain of the electronic manufacturing, starting from the basic research in the area of materials to the application and translated research for development and deployment of the complex systems. The major areas which establishes the ecosystem in the country of the research and innovations which are supported by METI, which includes materials, photonics, semiconductors, nanoelectronics, medical electronics, system development, process automation, supercomputers, AI, additive manufacturers, just to name a few one. METI provides basically a platform for the academia, industry, startups, and government to collaborate and develop research to address the challenges in the society for the society and the strategic problems. METI research program provides basically the infrastructure, capacity building, research, innovation, and definitely starting the support to the startups. The nanoelectronics area is one of the first areas of research supported by Ministry of Electronics and IT. Definitely, it is a important pillar for the ESDM sectors and which provides a building block for technical frontiers. It has the potentials to the new areas of research and the application in the various sectors like healthcare, medicines, automotive sector, energy, environment, agriculture, food processing, etc. We find the government has given a big thrust in the recently in establishing the fab in the country on silicon fab, GaN fab, compound semiconductor fab, and the display fab. And there is a great need of the skilled and the capable manpower available in these areas. And this program of INUP really fits into the government scheme of creating a semiconductor leadership in the world. Sorry, the INUP program, Indian Nanoelectronics User Program, was conceived and supported by METI and the Office of PSA, as brought out by Dr. Chidambaram also in the year 2006 by establishing the Center of Excellence as IISc and IIT Bombay. These programs they have been established. These world-class centers have been established by spending a lot of money and the highly skilled manpower available over there. It was very difficult for the country to spend such kind of expenditure to be made at different centers across the country. Therefore, there was concept of collaboration of these institutes with the other participating research institutions and the researchers was made, and these become the national institution in the area of nanoelectronics. This also increased the concept of collaborative research as well as the efficiency of the nano centers was also enhanced. The two programs of INUP 2018 to 14 and 14 to 19 in phase 1 and phase 2, they had a great success. These were rightly brought out by Director IIT Bombay also. They have resulted in giving a further thrust by the ministry in developing the new program of INUP Idea to Innovation. The program is really, it is a very important program in the today's context, and the program has come up to a level which is changing the value chain of the whole system, moving from not only basically creating the workshop trainings and the research ecosystem, but also supporting the various tier T and tier 3 institution in the R&D and their collaborations. The mentoring of the startups and commercialization are one of the important objectives of the whole program. The program also envisages the hackathon and the challenges in developing the societal application in the area of nanoelectronics. I am very sure that these areas of activities will definitely lead to the development of indigenous technologies and devices in the area of nanoelectronics, which is definitely in the lines of the spirit of Atmanirbhar Bharat. I'm sure that this workshop will provide a platform for the researchers to have a very fruitful deliberations and discussions. On behalf of IT, I wish this workshop a great success and feel honored to have the inauguration of the INUP portal on behalf of the Ministry of Electronics and IT. Thank you very much from my side.
Thank you, Shri Arvind Kumarji, for those encouraging words for all our participants and highlighting the key expectations from the INUP program. I would like to invite you to inaugurate the INUP I2I common web portal. So we have developed the common web portals between all the 6 institutes for the INUP I2I program. So I would like to invite you for the inauguration of the common web portal.
Thank you. On behalf of Ministry, Ministry feel honored to inaugurate to launch this web portal of INUP program.
Thank you very much, Shri Arvind Kumarji. This common web portal has been developed with the help of Dr. Rajni Munna and IIT Guwahati, and Professor Dipankar Bandyopadhyay, who is the PI of INUP I2I at IIT Guwahati, has coordinated this activity. I would like to invite Professor Dipankar Bandyopadhyay to introduce us to this new INUP I2I web portal that will coordinate the INUP program for all the 6 institutes. Dr. Dipankar?
Yeah, Saurabh, thank you. Let me share my screen. So first thing, I think, Arvindji, we have prepared, this is the entire presentation. These are all the institutes, okay, in this INUP's I2I electronics, nano electronics, electronics users program, idea to innovation, okay. So you please say that, this is inaugurated. So then we can go ahead with the inauguration. So the curtain raiser takes place for the web page.
Web portal is inaugurated on behalf of Ministry of IT from my side. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So this is the front page. Okay, just go to the web page. I just, demonstrate everybody who is on the dais. Let me just go out of this. Yeah. So I just demonstrate everybody on the dais what are the salient features of this web page. So this is a common web page from all the IITs and IISc. One of the major highlights, you can see that this central part where this is the part where we have this logo. This is the logo that has been finalized for this INUP I2I, idea to innovation. So essentially it holds the keys of, the color actually highlights the part that this is the color for youth, color for innovation, okay, color for entrepreneurship. So blue and green has been chosen. It has an essence of N. It also has an essence of graphene structure, okay, and it also has an essence of upskilling, mentorship. So the design department of IIT Guwahati, whom you know that they're famous for designing this rupiah, the symbol. So they have helped us in designing this. So our tagline is INUP I2I innovation, idea to innovation. This web portal is connected to the MITI web page. So if you click on this MITI link, you are directly going to the MITI web page. And in the MITI web page also, we have the connection with this INUP I2I web page. So you are directly connecting back to this web page. So to and fro connection between the MITI web page and this central web page where all the repositories will be there that are connected. Further, you may see that we are going to connect this web portal with all the social media platforms like Facebook, like Twitter. So essentially all the activities that will be available directly through this web page to the entire ecosystem of nanoelectronics across the country. Okay, let me just go through the parts of this web page. Like about iNOO, you can see the preamble with all the details that was very nicely summarized by our very honorable Professor Chidambaram. So we have put a very brief outline of all the activities that has taken place over the years in this preamble. Then we have vision, then we have mission. Okay, so all this have been uploaded on the web page so that a new user comes to know about what are the detailed activities that has taken place. Okay, and the scope of this particular iNOO I2I has been summarized in this nice cartoon made by perhaps Dr. Nageshwari and Swaroop. So, you know, level 1, level 2, level 3, how are they going to really graduate in their skilling process? And then, you know, our one of the target is to graduate some of these, you know, novice people who are coming, so they can really graduate to some startups, some sort of industry training participation and all, right? So the entire set of things related to the background history of this, including the investigators, as well as like, you know, the PRSG who are mentoring, they are all on the web right now. We also put together an event calendar. I thank all the participating institutions. They have coordinated with us, and they have cooperated. So you can see this in this event calendar. We have now all the events for this first year until September 2022. Everything has been updated. So all the events related to, you know, IIT Guwahati, IISc Bangalore, Madras, Bombay, everything can be found here. And the event details in the events like the familiarization workshops, hands-on trainings. Then you have lectures, the digital content. This is another new thing that is coming up, that, you know, we are going to have digital contents here, like all the lectures by the dignitaries, by the experts will be archived here so that they are available online through this web portal to the remote places of the country. And then we also have institution-wise hackathons and grand challenges that will be done over a period of time, and these events are to be updated in this event web page. Of course, research and development related projects, how are they going to happen, how they submit the a proposal, and then how do we revise, and then from there, how do they come here for a short term, medium term, and for, like, you know, long term activities. That has been summarized here in the form of the research projects. And you may find that, you know, at the right side, there is this users button. So there is this getting started. So they will be guided that how exactly they are going to graduate up to this research projects to startups. So here, what we are planning, that we are going to register every user. We are going to give them the login, okay, so that a central database is created, and that central database will help, you know, the MITI, the Government of India, everybody to get to know how exactly, what is the workforce that is getting upskilled, what is the number directly that will be available to this web portal, and how exactly, how many of them are coming from which different place, and then what are the typical distribution. Everything will be available through this web page. And we are also planning to have the alumni database here. So you may see that this registration database is also ready, thanks to the team by Dr. Rajni Muna and a young group of startup companies who have made this registration portal ready. And, you know, they can log in directly from here, and then they can enter their details before they really enter into the local databases of, like, say, suppose IISc Bangalore, IIT Bombay, IIT Madras, IIT Guwahati, IIT Kharagpur, and IIT Delhi. About the facilities, we have also given the links of all the facilities, like IISc facilities here. You may see IIT Bombay facilities. So all the facility links have been connected through this particular web page. We also have a media for the gallery of different events. Like, say, suppose you can see if you go to this gallery. So for all the events, whatever is happening around the around those institutes in different workshops. So those pictures will be available, and at the same time, we will keep the videos also available. I mean, different types of activities that's going in different sectors. So apart from that, I just like to show you that through the central portal, this is a brief history of iNOOP I2I. We are going to populate this map with the participants who is coming from where, how the impact is generated across the nation. Like, so suppose I give you an example. IISc hold a familiarization workshop in December. So this is the distribution that we got for about 115 participants from which different states. Okay, so different types of distributions of like, male, female and all these things, they are coming to this central web page through this portal. And at the same time, we are also having the details of the participating institutions. Also one can go to the Nano Center web pages to see like, what are the activities that is taking place in the different Nano Centers. This central portal will also hold the statistics related to the manpower trained, workshops, projects, and total outcome from the project. So Saurabh, more or less this much from my side. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Professor Dipankar, for sharing the details of this website and coordinating the entire activity. I think this will be highly beneficial in managing the whole INEP I2I program. I would like to now, thanks. I would like to now move on to our next speaker, Srimati Sunita Verma, who is Scientist G and Senior Director, Microelectronics, Nanotechnology and Medical Electronics and Health Informatics Divisions at the MeitY, Government of India. And Sunita ji has been highly instrumental in working with her team to bring Netra and INEP to fruition. And it would be very nice to hear her words about the expectations from INEP and her address to the participants of this first workshop. Over to you, Sunita ji.
Thank you, Professor Lodha, for your kind words. Dr. Chidambaram, former PSA to Government of India, Professor Shubhashish Chaudhary, Director, IIT Bombay, Professor Jusair Wasi, Professor Swarup Ganguly, Professor Lodha, Professor Dipankar, and all the chief investigators from our INUP program from IISc, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Delhi, Madras, and others. A very warm welcome to you all and all the faculty members, staff members, researchers and scholars who are participating here. A very warm welcome to you all in this program. I see Dr. Uttam here also in the program, sir. It's so nice to see you. So we have with us the pillars of the Nano Electronics program, as Dr. Chidambaram has already said, that it was way back in 2006 that the Nanoelectronics program was formulated, and the vision with his vision and director with Professor Jusair Wasi, Dr. Uttam and Dr. Fatke. We initiated this R&D program at that time in 2006 when all the other universities and researchers in the world had started. And at that time, with the 100 crores, we had the state-of-the-art facility created, the centers created at IIT Bombay and IISc Bangalore. At that time, 100 crores was a big amount. But the government had, with that vision, with Dr. Chidambaram's guidance, started this program. And now we have these centers not only at IISc and IIT Bombay, but also at IIT Madras, Kharagpur, at IIT Guwahati and IIT Delhi. So, each of these centers are specializing in their own areas. They have their own expertise, and the research which is coming out and the research papers which are coming out, the impact factor, the quality of papers over the years have had made India as one of the leaders in the research in this area. And I think the quality of research, as I think Professor Udayan Ganguly had given mention in his paper, is that we are number 2 in the world in terms of the impact factor and the quality of the papers that are there. So the research has contributed a lot because of the centers that had been established, and we want to give this facility, offer this facility to more and more institutions so that they are also able to come out with quality research. And also as the mighty focus is more towards application oriented research, we are also now looking at how the research can be translated into some applications which can be useful for the society and can be marketable and give benefit to our strategic sector also. So over the years, I think we have seen that during the COVID challenge also, our centers had risen up to the challenge and come out with the masks, with ventilators, with the RT-PCR testing systems, and not only that, but also with various sensors and which are useful in the strategic sector. So, sir, I feel that the program in nanoelectronics have come a long way since 2006, where we are now looking at not only the research but the capacity building to be now fed into the various schemes and programs of the ministry, as Arvind Kumar sir has said that we have the various schemes launched by the ministry, in which the semiconductor fabs will be invited in various, not only in the compound or display but also in the CMOS sectors, where the expertise of the manpower would be required. And with that vision, we have launched this INUP program, so that all the 6 institutions where the centers have been established can come up, can not only handhold other institutions, broaden the base, but also to come together to bring quality research and manpower in the country to benefit and finally feed into the various schemes or the vision that government has regarding in the semiconductor area. So I would like to also mention about our N-Netra program that has been recently started, and Dr. Chidambaram and also mentioned briefly about that. So this program is also a network of all the 6 institutions together, 5 institutions. Guwahati had a separate program at that time, where we are also looking at increasing the technology readiness level of the research which had been carried out in the earlier phases of the program, and also taking them into the market. And I think there are so many startups which have come up based on the technologies which have been developed, and under the INUP we would like to mentor those startups to increase their TRL and any mentoring that they would be required. And also because the technology developed would need extensive field trials, so that support also would be provided under the INUP program. So I wish this INUP program all the success. I'm glad to be part of this, and over the years that we are seeing the capacity building, we would like to see that more of the quality research and this quality manpower gets an opportunity in not only the Indian scenario but also in the global market, where I think there is a dearth of excellent and quality expert manpower in the country. So with this, I think I thank the organizers. The website has come out so well, and I think I'll congratulate Professor Dipankar and Professor Rajni Muna for the excellent work which has been done. The website, I think, it will be giving a full information about the INUP program for anybody to see and get to know, especially for the users to take advantage of the facility that has been created, not only for research but also for the various training and different levels of trainings which are being invited. I would request all the researchers and the institutions to regularly visit the website to see what programs are going on and to take advantage of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Sunita ji. Thank you for impressing upon all of us and the participants what we really need to focus on for the next 3 years with INUP I2I. Quality manpower, quality research, and quality technology at the global scale is what we need to focus on. Thanks a lot for those words. As we heard Dr. Chidambaram about the story of INUP from the government side, and as he mentioned from the academia, it was Professor Vasi and Professor Navkant and Professor Rudra Pratap at IISc who led the efforts in establishing the centers of excellence in nanoelectronics at IIT Bombay and IISc, and also the INUP program. So we would like to hear Professor Vasi's story from the academia side about how INUP came about and how it has run over the last 12 years. He was the founding PI of INUP, and so over to Professor Vasi.
Yeah, thank you very much, Saurabh. Esteemed Dr. Chidambaram, Sri Arvind Kumar, Professor Subhashish Chaudhary, Dr. Sunita Verma, faculty members from IIT Bombay and all the participating IITs and participants. I'm really delighted to be here today at the inauguration of the INUP I2I workshop and the launch of what I still think of as phase 3 of the INUP program. As Saurabh has said, I would like to give a bit of the history of this really amazing initiative by MeitY. I was fortunate to be involved with that at the very beginning, going back to 2004. As Dr. Chidambaram has described, the area of nanoelectronics was really given a decisive boost in India by him as PSA in 2004, starting in 2004. One of the important decisions, of course, was to launch the 2 centers of excellence in nanoelectronics, then called CEN, at IIT Bombay and IISc as a single joint project. In fact, this is an interesting point. They were not 2 separate projects, but a single project. Dr. Chidambaram really ensured that these 2 centers were funded generously by MeitY, and indeed excellent facilities were created at both the institutions. But equally important, Dr. Chidambaram felt right then itself in the 2004-2006 timeframe that though such state-of-the-art facilities would be created at just 2 places, these facilities should be available to young researchers from all over India. This idea was indeed the genesis of the Indian Nanoelectronics Users Program, which again was launched with funding from MeitY. Dr. Chidambaram, sir, we are indeed grateful to you for this visionary outlook which made INUP possible, and we are really delighted and privileged that you could be here today with us to inspire the 3rd generation of students who will benefit from this program. I'd like to recall some of the early discussions which we had and which we then implemented in INUP. And these were discussions which we had faculty members at IIT Bombay and at IISc. And some of the things which we decided were or looked at were the following. The first thing was that we would invite proposals from users and that we would have a turnaround time of the decision cycle within 4 to 6 weeks. This was very important because good ideas have a short shelf life. And if you wait too long, the proposal, what had been proposed by the users may no longer be useful or interesting. This meant that the proposals would be evaluated locally at IIT Bombay and IISc, something which MeitY would need to agree to. Also, users should not have to pay for the use of the facilities, nor for travel to IIT Bombay and stay here. This should also be funded by MeitY. We also needed to ensure that facilities would be made available readily and in a transparent manner. And to this end, an online booking system of all equipments available at IIT Bombay and at IISc booking system, online booking system was implemented. We also went further, for example, to ensure guaranteed accommodation. At IIT Bombay, for example, we rented out 2 flats just outside IIT Bombay and we furnished them with really all the necessities to make life comfortable, because many of the researchers, the users who came here would be staying for days, weeks, and sometimes even months. So we furnished them well, and we ensured that accommodation was always easily available. All the users who came in were mentored by faculty members and also the research students at IIT Bombay. The latter especially provided really an important peer-to-peer learning process from which both sides, the INUP users and also the IITB research students, learned and benefited greatly. Finally, we decided that all IP, papers, patents, etc. would belong to the users, and IIT Bombay would have no part in that. On a lighter scale, on a lighter side, I'd like to just mention that this is one of the projects which we took up, where we were proud to report to the monitoring committee that we had no papers, we meaning IIT Bombay and IISc had no papers coming out of the activity, but that all the papers, and you saw that there are many of them, were really to be attributed to the user organizations and the user researchers. So we discussed all of these ground rules with MAITI, and we were really very pleased when they agreed readily. Here I must mention the constant support we received from MAITI, particularly Dr. S.P. Uttam, who ardently backed this program. I'm really delighted, Dr. Uttam, that you are able to join us today. Thank you, Dr. Uttam, for the exciting days we spent together planning this incredible venture. The first 2 phases of INUP have been very successful, really beyond our wildest dreams. What it showed us is that there is a great incipient interest in experimental high technology research across the country, and we were really overjoyed that we could tap into this interest. Dr. Chidambaram, sir, in 2010, you also encouraged us to create a major program in photovoltaics at IIT Bombay, and you requested MNRE to fund the National Center for Photovoltaic Research and Education, NCPRE, at IIT Bombay, which itself has gone from strength to strength. I'm happy to inform you that PV solar cell fabrication and characterization is now also a part of INUP, and many projects in this area too have been undertaken. INUP has played an important role in nano-based activities in the country for more than a decade, and really created a new paradigm for research using shared facilities, which has resulted in a democratization of experimental research. And I was delighted to hear from Dr. Chidambaram that it's provided a template for the new important iSTEM program. In the coming years, it is destined to play an even more crucial role as India embarks into semiconductor and solar manufacturing, where the skills of young researchers, many of whom I think are here at the workshop today, the skills of these young researchers will be critical. And with the launch of that excellent INUP I2I website created by Dr. Dipankar Bandyopadhyay, which we all saw, I'm sure that the program will be able to reach out to many more users. For a program to be as successful as INUP has been, it needs a great visionary and also exceptional people who can implement it faithfully and guide its progress with clarity. The visionary, of course, was Dr. Chidambaram. Many of the young faculty members at IIT Bombay and IISc, and now at the other IITs, enthusiastically and selflessly implemented the INUP vision and are now in full charge of it. I must particularly mention Dr. Nageshwari at IIT Bombay, who has been the face of INUP from IIT Bombay all these years. She and her team have seamlessly organized workshops, mentored students, and made sure that they have no problems when they come to IIT Bombay, whether in the laboratory or in the flats which they were occupying. Thank you, Dr. Nageshwari. Finally, MeitY has treated this as one of their flagship projects in microelectronics, and thanks very much to Dr. Sunita Verma and others who have continued to support it. I'm sure that INUP Idea to Innovation will be as successful, even more successful than its previous avatars, and I wish the potential users, including many of you present at today's workshop, all the best. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Vasi, for those nice features of INUP that you highlighted when it started off and which have continued to this day. And also for your wishes, INUP face. It's very important for all of us. It's very encouraging. With that, I would like to request Professor Ashwin Tulapurkar, who is my colleague and PI of INUP I2I at IIT Bombay, to tell us a little bit more about the program at IIT Bombay. Over to you, Ashwin.
Yes, thank you, Saurabh. Is my screen visible?
Not yet. Yeah, now it's visible. Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Good morning and welcome to the first familiarization workshop of the INUP I2I program at IIT Bombay. And it is my pleasure and honor to give a talk on this forum of distinguished speakers of Professor Chowdhury, Dr. Chidambaram, Sri Arvind Kumarji, Srimati Sunita Vermaji, Professor Bandyopadhyay, and Professor Vasi. So I will give you a brief introduction to INUP program and how INUP I2I has progressed from it. All of us know that if you look at any semiconductor device, the important part which we can think of as a Lego brick of it is a semiconductor chip. So it's very important for India to develop a trained manpower in the field of semiconductors. So we can say that the nanotechnology is an important pillar for technologies which are required for the ESDM sector. And with the government initiative of establishing fabrication labs in various areas such as silicon, gallium nitride, and so on, it's very important that we develop this special work task. And also with the developing technologies, the size becomes smaller and smaller. So it's very important to really sustain these activities and so on. Okay. So with this in mind, the INUP program was set up by MeitY at IIT Bombay and ISC, and the goals were, wide dissemination of knowledge at the PhD and PG level to impart hands-on training in nanoelectronics, and also provide a platform for experimental research by leveraging the facilities at the Center of Excellence in Nanoelectronics, which MeitY had set up at IIT Bombay and ISC, and finally encourage and promote collaborative research so that people can benefit from the complementary expertise in nanoelectronics across the country. Okay, so in the INUP, there were 3 levels of trainings: level 1, level 2, and level 3. And in level 1 consisted of familiarization workshop like the one that we are having in the next 3 days. The level 2 consisted of hands-on training where the users could come visit the SCM facilities and use the facilities hands-on. And the final level was execution of research projects by users, and they were provided the support for fabrication and also guidance. And now these are the achievements of INUP at IIT Bombay. I don't expect you to read these fine prints, but so essentially the point is that in these 2 phases, we trained about 4,000 researchers, and this came from 700 organizations. And these are given state-wise in the figure here. And we had more than 50 familiarization workshops, including both the phases. Then there were hands-on training workshops, again more than 100, and there were research proposals which were more than 1,000. All of them were carried out during the first two phases of the INUP. And you can also see the INUP users across the India. So here I'm taking the level 3, which consists of research projects which were carried out at IIT Bombay. And the number of institutions were about 200. And you can see their distribution across various states. So you can see that Maharashtra had more representation, being closer to IIT Bombay. So there were 53 from Maharashtra, but also if you go to remote states from Maharashtra, also we had participation. And for this level 3, you can see that the maximum contribution came from the government and private universities and engineering colleges, about 61%. And you can see here pictures of some of the devices which were fabricated by INUP during the level 3 program. And the outcome, we had more than 500 publications, more than some 22 patents, and also we supported many PhD scholars. And you can also see that the publications were in reputed journals such as Sensors and Actuators, Journal of Applied Physics, and so on. So essentially, this INUP program, which we ran as phase 1 and phase 2, was a really successful program. And if you look at now the INUP users and where they are now, you can see in this slide that these users are also well placed. Okay, so some of the users have gone to industry. Some who were students have now joined for a PhD program in various institutes. Some users have gone to the R&D sectors in different labs and even abroad. And some of the users have also joined as faculty in various institutes in India. Okay. So overall, this program has been quite successful. And now, after these first two phases, now we have come to the next phase of INUP, which is called as INUP Idea to Innovation. So here you can see the roadmap of this evolution. The phase 1 started in 2008. This was implemented at IIT Bombay and IST to leverage again the Center of Excellence in Nanoelectronics set up by MIT. Then the phase 2 was from 2014 to 2019. And in this phase at IIT Bombay, apart from carrying out the level 1, level 2, and level 3 training, we also started hackathon and industrial training. So this was not really a part of deliverable, but we started this initiative. And then now the next phase of INUP is for 3 years, from 2021 to 2024. And now this is to be implemented at 6 different institutions. The previous 2 phases were only at IIT Bombay and IST. Now we have 5 IITs and IST. And the goal of this program is to generate skilled manpower in nanoelectronics, developing prototype devices, support to startup, and also mentoring institutes through workshop, hands-on training, R&D projects, hackathon, and so on. So you can see that the industry training, the hackathon, support to startup has now become an integral part of the INUP program, and a lot of emphasis will be given on this part. Now in this program, again, we have divided this into 3 levels. The level 1 is a familiarization workshop. And previously, of course, we used to have offline workshops, but now the workshops are going to be online. And we may have some face-to-face workshops also. So this we'll see as we go ahead. Now the level 2 consists of the hands-on training. So this would be carried out on site. So we will invite researchers to come to IIT Bombay and impart them a hands-on training. And along with that, we will also carry out digital training. So this was something which was not part of the first 2 phases. So we will make a recording of this training, and then these modules will be available online across users from India. And the level 3 would be the project training, where we will look at the individual proposals. We will also look at the proposals that we get from hackathons, and also we'll look at the collaborating institute. So this is again a new part of the third phase, collaborating institutes. And of course, a lot of emphasis will be put on mentoring. So we are going to mentor startups. So they can use the facilities at IIT Bombay, and we will also provide them support in terms of networking. For example, incubators and prototype facilities and so on. Now, under this umbrella of collaborating institutes, we will carry out project training for the institute and help them in patenting, incubation, etc. So again, these are the expected outcome of this program. We'll have proof of concept devices, patents, publications. Now, these are going to be the activities at IIT Bombay during these 3 years. So each year we'll have one virtual workshop, and typically there would be 100 participants in each of the workshops. Then we will have a hands-on training part. So each year we are going to carry out 2 such hands-on training workshops and 1 digital module. And typically we expect about 50 participants combining these 2 workshops. So 25 for each workshop is what we expect. And at level 3, where we are going to support application-oriented projects. And so in the 3 years, we are going to support 40 projects in each year, 30 from the short-term projects and 10 medium-term projects. So in all, there are going to be 120 projects. Then there are going to be hackathons. And each year, we are going to carry out 1 hackathon. And so this is the year-wise trained manpower that is expected from this project at IIT Bombay. Now, for the mentoring, we are going to have collaborating institutes. So essentially, the projects will be supported in a different mode here. We have institutes which we are going to mentor, and it is not one individual from the institute, but many researchers from one institute. So this is the idea behind the collaborating institute part, and we are going to mentor also startups and MSMEs. So typically, so there are going to be 7 collaborating institutes over the 3 years, and each year we are going to support 3 startups. And apart from that, there is also going to be industry training. This will be on the paid basis. Now we have various facilities which would be available for the INUP users. So this is the glimpse of what we have. So we have various facilities for deposition, growth, and annealing tools. We have lithography tools, etching tools. Then after device application, we can also do electrical characterization. Then the material and structural characterization. We also have simulation tools. So totally, we have about 100 tools in the nanofab category, which would be available to the users, and also characterization tools of about 40. And these tools have come from the CN project, which was funded by METI. And apart from that, the faculties at IIT Bombay had many non-CN projects coming from DST or SUB. And all those tools are also included, and they will be available to the users under the INP program. Now, as Professor Bandyopadhyay already have shown you about this portal, so you can, so this is a screenshot from the portal for IIT Bombay, and you can get information about the upcoming workshop. So you can see that the workshop today, which is started, is on the website. It's from January 19 to 21. Then there's a hands-on training workshop coming up on February 7 to 16, and one more workshop coming up from April 4 to 13. So, so those who are interested can register for these workshops, and the information is available on the website. And also the hackathon events are also available on the website. So we have already announced one hackathon, which would be end of the December. Now for the familiarization workshop, the way we carry out is we have online registration, and we select about 100 participants. And then there are lectures which are based on broad areas of nanotechnology. So you can look at the schedule here, and you will see that we have speakers from a very broad range of nanoelectronics. And again, a different part from the previous INP phases is that at the end, we will have a multiple choice question test. Okay, so this is a new feature that we have introduced. And finally, you will also get a certificate. Now for the level 2, again, we start with online registration. We will select about 20 to 25 participants, mainly faculties and PhD students. And then they will come visit IIT Bombay, and they will also have some lectures based on this application process. And they will there will also be presentation by participants and so on. Okay, and finally you will also get a certificate. So this is going to be a really interesting part where you can really see how a device is fabricated. And again, there are different topics on which these workshops are carried out. Now, these are some of the pictures from the workshops in the previous phases that the researchers have carried out. Okay, so now for the project 3, we have already started receiving the proposals. So you can check our portal and you can submit a project using that. So we have started receiving the proposals and the review is in progress. Okay. Now for the level 3, which is the project level, again, we have a plan how we select this project. We look at the objectives, the project plan, technological novelty, and whether the project is feasible at IIT Bombay or not. And there is also going to be a faculty review. Okay, so this is going to be involved process, and we really need to look at some innovations. And the other part of the program is hackathons. These hackathons will be based on the industry or government defined areas, so such as healthcare, energy, education, environment, security, transport, defense, agriculture. Okay, so these are some of the important areas which India needs. So based on this area, we are going to announce hackathons, and then we look at the project proposals that we have submitted, and then we are going to select the winners. Okay, so there are going to be total. So there are going to be 3 contests, and there are going to be 9 winning projects. Okay, and then they would be invited to come to IIT Bombay and carry out their proposal. Now, the other salient features of our program are startup support. So this is going to be more emphasized in this phase compared to the previous 2 phases. And then we have collaborating institutes, and we are also going to carry out the industry training. Now, these are the list of chief investigators at IIT Bombay. We have 5 chief investigators from Department of Electrical Engineering and also from Department of Biosciences. And then we also have 3 co-chief investigators. So with this, I would end my short presentation. I would like to thank you for listening to me. And if you want more information about the program at IIT Bombay, you can listen to the talk which will be given on the last day of this workshop at 3:30 p.m. So there you can get more information of how you can use the facilities and so on. So with this, thank you all.
Thank you, Ashwin, for the detailed presentation on INEP at IIT Bombay, especially highlighting the key new features this time that we have for INEP, and sharing that with all the participants and our guests for this inaugural session. This brings me towards the end of our inaugural session. I would like to thank all the distinguished guests, Dr. Chidambaram, Professor Vasi, Dr. Subhashish, Arvindji, Sunitaji, and Dipankar. And I would like to request my colleague, Professor Udayan Ganguly, who is also a PI, to give the final vote of thanks and end this session. Thank you very much. Over to you, Udayan.
Thank you very much, Saurabh. This is a great pleasure to witness the kickoff of as Professor Vasi called it, INEP 3, and for this very great honor to actually thank everybody who's here. So without much ado, I would first like to thank Dr. Chidambaram, who's the guest of honor. And he's not just the guest of honor today. He's been a mentor, and he's been a supporter, and he's been on our camp for the many years. I remember still Professor Vasi introducing me to him, and then having many discussions with him, even as an assistant professor. So thank you, sir. Then we have, of course, Professor Subhashish Chaudhary, our director. He's our own person here. He's the host at large. And so, but we thank him for gracing the occasion and for his continued support, in which INUP plays an important role in the overarching vision of IIT Bombay and also the country at large. Then among the dignitaries, we have, of course, Professor Vasi. There are many things to be said for him, and there were many people who would say things in which he has touched many lives. This is one of his ways in which he has made sure that India has a program like INUP by working through the, in the trenches, essentially. That is his style. He's always sort of done detailed work, and in this realm, of course, in this league is, of course, Professor Dr. Uttam from METI, the early torchbearers of the INUP program, the CEN program, and so in any new program, you need to have faith and you need to have trust, and you need to believe. And I think Dr. Uttam, early on when we joined, we would even get to have chai with him, and he would impress upon us in those informal times what India needed. And it's interesting to sort of see how things have panned out after so many years, and his beliefs have been validated. So naturally, from Dr. Uttam at METI, we come to, of course, the METI team, which is led by Shri Arvind Kumar, Ms. Sunita Verma, and her team, Sangeeta Semwal, Nishit Gupta, Shikha Bansal. They have carried on the role of nurturing this through difficult times, very challenging times, and yet have been able to form the bridge between the ecosystem and the ministry. And I think it's not an easy task. And of course, now we have, of course, Shri Anil Pippal's team from HRD division, who has joined forces. And if you really think about it, what started off in 2006 has now yielded in this big announcement by the Prime Minister, right, on the semiconductors ecosystem development, right? And the fact that we are at this threshold where that we have this ability in terms of manpower, in terms of talent, in terms of capabilities, is the ideal launching pad that we have provided, right? And we have also provided advocacy. And people ask us all the time, what has this nanoelectronics program done? So I had to, I was always curious, and we did a study, and I think Dr. Chidambaram had a slide on it where we showed how after 2006, we almost, we had an incubation period of about 5 years. And after that, India sort of took off in terms of publications. And we are now top of top 10, top 5 in different top journals in engineering. And there is clear data to show these things, right? So the take from this is that, METI knows now that there's an experiment that works. And if you add infrastructure to talent, things will happen, right? And that's probably why the ecosystem building is the next level of the push. So thank you, METI team, for partnering on this, for being a key pusher of this very important national agenda. Third is, of course, the PIs and the co-PIs from the various institutes. Managing this large setup is not a very easy thing. It requires coordination at the national scale. It requires meeting of the minds, and we have Professor Dipankar Bandyopadhyay, who presented from IIT Guwahati, who is one of the newer IITs to get into this, this common platform, and you can see how welcoming we are, how we want to grow, and we want to include and find the best talents and nourish them. Then we have, of course, the IIT Bombay, the INUP staff team, and the faculty team here. You can see Dr. Nageshwari here, who's an attendee, and she has essentially managed the INUP program from its inception. She is our own talent from the campus, and she has pulled along all the faculty members, 6 phases, through this phase, 6 institutes, and has served as an overall manager and guiding all the teams from all the institutes. We also have Mrs. Rajni Muna, who has developed the IT backbone and enabled electronic management of all these interactions, which is very key for every coordination activity. We would also like to thank Professor Vasi, Professor Ramgopal, Professor Anil Kottantarayal, who were torchbearers of this INUP program earlier from IIT Bombay side. And of course, Professor Pinto, we can't forget him, for developing this big infrastructure into the right scale. I don't know if you heard this, but when Ashwin was presenting, there were some alarms going off. And that is typically India. So it turns out that there was some fumigation for mosquitoes happening, and our lab safety systems responded to that. So this is sort of a reminder that we are doing this as a real experiment in India, with all sorts of real problems, and we are still making it work. And this is because of all the teams who are working here. Who are all homegrown, who are talent, who have sort of come here and is making it work. And finally, last but absolutely not the least, the patrons of INUP, the Indian Nano Electronics users community, who has made this program, who has taken to this program, who has made it native to India, and who has made it successful and enabled us with the courage to aspire for bigger things. With that, I would like to thank everybody and would like to declare this session closed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dan. Thanks, everyone. We close the inaugural session and we move on to the workshop sessions. There are some exciting talks today in 3 different sessions and then a poster presentation. I welcome you all to join the workshop and attend these sessions. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.